Ajay Kumar,
Yeah,
Swapan Dasgupta makes the point that it is only the blind hatred of Prime Minister Modi that makes the opposition see the Central Vista as a personal project in a way of Prime Minister, the Prime Minister imposing his legacy and in the name of decolonization.
Look, the first question is, as usual, another event management to divert the country for another few days from the main issues. Look, you have Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's statue. What did Netaji say? Religious fanaticism is the greatest thorn in the path of cultural intimacy, and there is no better remedy for fanaticism than secular and scientific education. Okay, this is what, so now they want to appropriate Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose as a statue, but never believe in what he said. He said that the greatest enemy of this country are the right-wingers. He said Nehru was one of the greatest patriots. So, shamelessly rewriting history. First question, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. First point number one, you want to highlight Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, highlight his thoughts, highlight the beliefs he had. But the right-wingers will not highlight what Sardar Patel had believed in. As usual, appropriating history, two Congress presidents, they want to, and we are happy if there are two Congress presidents. But my issue, Rajdeep, is, what is this Kartavya Path and democratization of the space? The poorest of this country was sitting and having ice creams on that Rajpath for so many years. But Swapan Dasgupta suddenly sees this democratization of the space. You and me and children have been having ice creams for ages. There has been people who have been walking on the lawns. People come from all over India, all over Delhi and have it. And suddenly, because you called it Kartavya Path. Third point, which is very interesting, colonization. The other day, the Prime Minister said we have beaten the British economy, we have become larger. To again, event management, we are 144th per capita income. So my question to you is, this program was made, okay, during the peak of COVID time. And the Prime Minister has got parallels. Hitler destroyed the old German chancellery and made a new one. So my question again is, no, you need to listen to, because you gave a lot of time to Swapan Dasgupta, so you'll have to bear with me for a few moments. The question again is very simple. Every 3 days there's a topic of diversion. Now 5 days you'll go on Kartavya Path. We have, no, one sec, let me complete, my friend. You did, yeah, so okay. So my question is very simple. Is it democratization of the space? The biggest nonsense. General Malik was saying that, is it a good symbol? Again, the biggest nonsense. If it is Kartavya Path, then you should have an ED Path, CBI Path, Berozgari Path, Mangai Path. The question again is, what is these guys have done in any work? No.
You're saying, sir, the larger point you're making which needs to be answered, you say it's a diversion,
no,
it's event management.
Complete, my friend. No, he has to answer a few more questions. You gave me so less time, so you also please listen. My question is very simple. Today, the Bharatiya Janata Party let us 1/50th in press freedom by colonial, getting rid of colonial vestige, 144th in Human Developmental Index, 87th in the passport, highest number of malnourished children in the world since Modi came, the highest number of unemployment in the world since Modi came. So my question again is, what Kartavya? What is this? And like
now, Ajoy Kumar, you've asked several questions. No, I will now. You've asked these questions. You've asked them strongly. You have every right. I've given you time, 3 minutes uninterrupted.
Suddenly says, why 1965?
Okay, let's Swapan Dasgupta, and then I'll go to General Malik. Swapan Dasgupta, is this a diversion? Is this event management? This is part of the government's attempt to create a spectacle around it.
Rajdeep, everything is called an event management. No doubt there is an element of the spectacle which is involved in this, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. Because after all, we are commemorating and celebrating the 75th year of independence, and this is a very, very momentous occasion for us. And therefore, there will be various events all over the country, which in some way or the other highlights these our evolution as a country, as a republic. Oh, well, republic happened 3 years later. But anyway, as a country, in the 75 years when we regained national sovereignty. Now the question arises, should all this be left unsung? should the 75th year of independence be devoted to having the same political rhetoric? And Mr. Ajoy Kumar is completely entitled to have these debates, about whether the COVID approach was right and wrong. I mean, I personally think COVID was one of the management of COVID was one of the spectacular successes of Indian policy. But he may have another point of view. Fair enough, and I think there's a space for having those discussions. But when a national occasion like this happens, there has to be an element of the spectacle. And I think there is nothing wrong in it. What historians would call ornamentalism is really part of the Indian psychology.
And you don't see it as appropriation of Netaji's legacy, right? You don't see this as trying to appropriate Netaji's legacy.
Netaji does not belong to Netaji's family alone. Sardar Patel does not belong only to the narrowest of the Indian national. These are national icons. Okay. Just as to my mind, Jawaharlal Nehru too is a national icon. We may agree on certain facets of his thing, but you cannot talk about Indian independence without talking about his tryst with destiny.
Swapan Dasgupta, listening to you today is to see that, it's great to have some bipartisan spirit on these critical issues, which is the way it should be. Which is the way it should be. No, it's good. I think these occasions should reflect a bipartisan spirit, but General Malik,